Gamma Haven is a Peoplz and Dragons universe that invites players and listeners to join in on the chaos where any and everything is possible. This dark and gritty sci-fi fantasy setting has spawned a wide range of life within. The characters and lore that you all have put into the city has made for an interesting first season, and in celebration of season 2, we would like to take the time to award players you voted for in categories you all created. Welcome to the Gamma Haven Awards. We have 11 categories to give rewards in, and episode 1 awaits. So let's get to it. There's nothing more euphoric than listening to you and your friends' characters join forces in a scene. Or even better, when you and a stranger crosses paths. Or maybe an enemy. These player interactions are entertaining to witness, but will have you on edge when involved. The best player-to-player interaction award goes to R-Type X versus Makai.
Tempest trembles, body becoming weak from the overexertion and the effects of the amplify, and passes out. Makai turns and runs over toward Tempest when he runs directly into R-Type X, who appears right in front of him. Makai, surprised, opens his mouth to speak with his hand out for a handshake. When R-Type suddenly places his hand on Makai's robotic chest, the two lock eyes for a split second before a giant ball of light erupts between R-Type's palm and Makai's chest as he uses the 11 supernovas technique point blank and shoves it deep into Makai's chest, causing a 15-yard concentrated explosion with the power of 11 supernovas, sending Makai's lifeless body hurling at light speed into a nearby building that eventually crumbles and buries him. R-Type X stands with his hand out, smoke blowing from it. He turns around and picks up an unconscious Tempest. We see Makai's clanmate Impact, completely shocked by what she just saw, but lays low as her suit can detect incredible energy levels coming from R-Type X, way over 900 million, and no longer senses life coming from Makai. Though infuriated, she knows she must live to report back to the clan and retreat for now.
This interaction between these players was a milestone to me. It was historic, and things got tense in game and in the Discord. But we all remain friends, and maybe one day R-Type X and Makai will be too. Thank you both for generating an action-packed episode and throwing in some spice. Who doesn't love a little dragon beef? Give it up for R-Type X and Makai. When creating a character, every player is asked to choose 3 abilities which act as an umbrella for everything your character is proficient in. Some players have a broad array and others are masterful in just a few things. Creativity is endless, and when you're creative with what you have, you are remembered. The best use of an ability goes to
K throws his whip at Ivan, but it's evaded as Ivan lunges and plunges his dagger into K's pelvic region. K falls, stumbles backward, and grabs onto Ivan, who laughs while letting himself be pulled back into the ethereal realm. K, on one knee, endures his wounds and brings himself to his feet. Ivan twirls 3 shurikens on each hand while circling the injured K. McVeigh within his own ethereal realm.
I'll usually work things out with my enemies. We usually come to some sort of deal, but not you, Baldy. I reckon I'll just be killing you. The less realm hoppers, the better, I say.
Ivan throws all 6 shurikens into K, filling him up as they enter deep, each a third of the way in K's body. K stumbles back, gushing blood and stunned. Ivan fades in front of him, grabbing him by the throat and begins walking him backward.
I don't know who you cultists are, but I like ya, and I want ya.
Ivan's voice becoming deeper and terrifying as they fade back into the abyssal realm. Ivan pushes K backward, causing K to step back into a deadly trap set by Ivan that shoots one long spike up through K's foot and leg, leaving it jutting out of his knee. K screams and falls to the ground. Ivan spreads his arms in preparation to receive K's soul as his life dwindles.
Welcome to your new home.
Ivan waits, but nothing happens. When suddenly, K's Pioneer's whip appears, entangling and constricting Ivan's neck, pulling him up and away from K. Ivan, struggling to escape the Pioneer's whip, witnesses his own realm peel away, revealing that he is actually within the ethereal realm, dangling over the Vanlith Sea Labs, surrounded by a Survey Day army once again. 2 cultists run over to K's aid, detaching him from the trap that has claimed the entire half of his leg. Cultists deployed specifically to assist in the capture of Ivan appear with devices designed to deter him from fading by tethering him to the ethereal realm. K. McVeigh has outsmarted Ivan Bakara by using his Pioneer's link to create the illusion of being in the abyss and using his robes imbued with souls from the abyss to project the energy it has regulated from the realm to make Ivan feel at home, allowing himself to be maimed by one of Ivan's traps that he had lifted from his realm swiftly. K tightens the whip, lifting Ivan further into the air while wringing his neck.
K. McVeigh's use of reality manipulation even managed to deceive the massively clever Ivan, whom traverses realms as well, making it an incredible feat to pull off. And it's very brave for a player to go into a fight with the mindset of fooling a fish on land into thinking it's in the sea. Give it up for K. McVeigh. Over time, players will come and players will go. There's always a role to be filled, and at any given time, your character could play a major role. So stay sharp, because everyone is watching. This award goes to a new character that players look forward to seeing more of. The Best Is Yet to Come award goes to...
At the other end of the table, we see the glowing red eyes of an extremely thin and almost cadaverous human being. A corpse sitting upright at the table, his white hair laying over his gaunt face, wearing what looks like third-era armor but upgraded with highly advanced technology that seems to also be enchanted with magical properties, all partially concealed by the shadowy robe that wraps him, blending seamlessly with the shadows of the room. The Instigator is, in short, an evil mastermind. To elaborate, he is the creator of the Survey Day cult, an immortal mage whose origin and exact age are unknown, but goes way back before Haven was even thought of. And although slightly blasphemous within the Survey Day to speak this, some members of the inner circle believe that the Instigator was not even created by the Green Gods, unlike everything else. This was due to the fact that the Instigator developed and crafted the heart of the planet, Fisher of Emeralds, the Ichromancer. Technology on the level of that of the Green Gods. Though powerful in his nature, the Green Gods have appointed 3 leaders total, all exceptional in their purpose. They do, however, only willingly choose to speak through the instigator.
I couldn't think of a better character to win this award. The player of the instigator was a great sport, as he was a character I used to drive a certain narrative. I took all the actions that he submitted to me and made them fit into the story. So this meant that he needed to stay on the ship, but luckily this went well with his character. This coming season, the instigator is free to do as he pleases, and everyone is wondering what that will be. Give it up for that evil bastard, the instigator. Everything is a surprise in Peoplz and Dragons. You never know what to expect. So this award is saying a lot for this particular scene twist. The surprise of surprises. The best surprise moment goes to
Jeremiah begins to feel beyond sick and begins coughing up clear fluid. He looks up at Ryu for assistance, but Ryu just sits there, watching him in agony. Jeremiah realizes Ryu is up to something and turns around to call for his bodyguards and discovers they are both laid out on the floor behind the cockpit, paralyzed and cannot move. Jeremiah turns back around to Ryu Henshin, who stands up, grabs Jeremiah by his neck and throws him onto the dashboard and pins him down to it by impaling his hand with a laser knife into the cruise control button. Jeremiah screams in pain, then begins laughing at Ryu and calls him a bastard fool for double-crossing him of all people. Jeremiah lectures him on loyalty and tells him that his agreement to work for him goes way deeper than he thinks. Jeremiah coughs up more of the clear substance as his breathing gets harder to maintain. Using his power, the command, Jeremiah tells Ryu Henshin to break his own neck. We cut to the bedroom that looks like it belongs to a teenager. The walls covered with posters of Haven's most poppin' webcomic, Paper Angels. We see the real Ryu Henshin in his own world playing a video game with his headset on, oblivious to the outside apocalypse. Suddenly, his eyes go blank. He drops the controller, stands up, places both hands firmly on his neck, and breaks his own neck, collapsing to the floor. We cut back to Jeremiah, confused that nothing has happened to Ryu after giving the command, when we see Ryu's face and body morph and revert to his real identity. Ryan Zaidi, the ultimate assassin, with the ability to perfectly duplicate one's DNA. Jeremiah's trump card was essentially charging a counterfeit credit card. Ryan discards the counterfeit genetics and wiggles his hand and fingers mockingly at Jeremiah.
Ryan Zaidi tricking Jerry into killing the real Ryu was a massive twist, because everyone knows what happens when you shake Jeremiah Oliver's hand. We all knew Zaidi's fate was sealed when he shook hands at the Atlas job interview as Ryu. When Jerry's power collided with Ryan's ability to clone DNA perfectly and wear it like a glove, thus revealing his deep knowledge of Jerry-O, an innocent bystander was killed. The real Ryu. This was an unexpected and very dark turn of events. Give it up for Ryan Zaidi. In Gamma Haven, your character rank is rolled against another character's rank, or the difficulty rank of the task you're handling. When a player loses to a player, they can fail, or even worse, die, if they are 3 ranks higher than you. This is serious business, and permadeath is alive and well. There is an afterlife, though. The best defeat or death award goes to
A massive eruption of molten earth in black and blue chi explodes, sending the rubble and debris that once buried Makai every direction. Makai emerges, hovering from his perceived grave. his Energerai armor glowing a bright blue light now completely overclocked and powered by R-Type's 11 supernovas. Just as designed, the Funoichi Inc.'s state-of-the-art technology allowed them to make the Energerai suit capable of absorbing energy as stated. Makai's draconic aura has never been so intense, and neither has Makai's passion and anger. Makai moves at lightning speed with dragon claws out, practically teleporting to R-Type X, who gracefully dips backward, avoiding the slash, one hand carrying Tempest. Makai appears behind R-Type X in roaring dragon mode and slashes downward, upward, and across, barely missing R-Type X while he evades, barely missing a beat, smoothly in mid-air without touching the ground. Makai, moving at hyper speeds using supernova energy, still cannot land a strike on R-Type X. R-Type, while dodging, says, "There is only one dragon." And in one split-second motion, R-Type X absorbs all of the chi and supernova energy completely out of Makai's suit and into his own fist, and delivers a god-killing blow to Makai's gut that almost completely bores through the other end of him, but certainly shatters his spine into dust. The lights within the suit go out. Instantly, we cut to Makai floating in the void, frozen in place from the blow to the stomach, as a great mirror appears in front of Makai, when suddenly, flying through the mirror, shattering it, we see Iblis R-Type X in complete devil spirit form, colliding into Makai, enveloping him in blends of all destructive and murderous energy, which is the result of the Iblis judgment during R-Type's ultimate move, Aizajawajia. We cut back to the current plane, where we see Makai caught in a tower of black void energy, completely peeling away and disintegrating Makai's armor. R-Type X pulls his fist out of Makai's body, and the black tower of void fades away. Makai's limp and obliterated remains hit the ground, destroyed. R-Type X, still with Tempest in his other arm, throws Tempest over his shoulder and looks up at the night sky toward the approaching light.
A controversial scene that marked the first true murder of another player and set the tone for cooperative gameplay in Gamma Haven. New players will know nothing of it unless they listen to that episode or hear it from the players who were there. That's how legends are made. Anarchy 12 has been in Gamma Haven since the prequel episodes and has provided us with new and fresh designs of androids. He has entertained us with creative use of his tech and robotics ability and has terrorized us with their random appearances. We wanted to pay a little homage, so we asked you what was the best Anarchy android. And the award goes to
Jeremiah shouts, asking if the kid is okay and where his parents are, as he goes to the kid's aid, when suddenly appearing beside him, warped into existence by the child, a massive 10-foot black and chrome robotic monstrosity with razor-sharp edges, horns, and a tail. The Wrath Chimera, a vicious, hawking monster with enhanced speed, strength, intelligence, and reflexes, created by Anarchy 12 to hunt and ravage its targets. The creature lets out a piercing metallic screech as its large, powerful, and bladed tail crushes and skewers both Atlas Gate ships and spews its fiery and corrosive napalm saliva like a liquid flamethrower at the entire group of Gate agents. we see an agent screaming in agony as he and his allies melt under a glob of soupy, acidic lava spit as the rest of the group fire their rifles at its impenetrable chrome body. The small kid begins laughing, thoroughly amused at the chaos Anarchy's toys bring. Hundreds of yards away, we see a gate agent sniper with the child in his scope, and he fires. The bullet flies through the sky and crashes into a bubble force field around the kid. The kid stops laughing and looks directly at the sniper, shocked by not only the miss, but more so that the kid instantly spotted his location. The agent grabs his rifle and bag and begins to relocate when appearing in front of him was the kid. With the bat of Pokey Turner's giant eyes, the sniper's eyeballs are displaced from their sockets and appear inside of Pokey's bubble, landing in his hands. Pokey grabs one of the eyes and acts like he's looking through it and makes a pow-pow noise with his other finger like a gun, giggling childishly.
The Wraith Chimera, or Wrath Chimera, I've seen it spelled and pronounced so many ways, is designed to hunt G-types, therefore it has to be scary as shit and more than capable. When this monstrosity hit the scene, it came with destruction and an awesome theme song produced by our very own The Geek Squad. Give it up for Anarchy and The Geek Squad. We all know R-Type X is the embodiment of over the top. Quite literally, actually, if you saw what he did to the light. With every appearance, R-Type has a new, flashy, and heavily resourceful technique to show us, making him incredibly unpredictable. So, we asked you all, what was your favorite technique that he pulled from his sleeve? The best R-Type X technique award goes to
R-Type senses that this is the opportunity to finish it once and for all. R-Type performs a swift gesture with his hands and performs Aiza Dewajia, R-Type's ultimate technique. Spiritual energies capture the entire Gamma Fiend and begin to engulf it until it is completely sealed into a giant 30-story tall tower that manifests out of pure dark energy. The camera cuts to the entire Gamma Fiend aloft in a dark universe floating when dozens of mirrors appear all around the creature as it thrashes about endlessly floating in space. R-Type appears in the mirrors and steps out of each of them. But as he does, he is completely made of Iblis energy, devil energy. Iblis R-Type performs another hand gesture to trigger the War on All Fronts technique. Every existing energy that has existed within R-Type X shoots through the mirrors, piercing right through the Gamma Fiend and ripping out the spirit form of it, before completely shredding its spirit and body on both planes of time and space. A giant tower of black energy lingers for a bit before fading out, revealing the shredded remains of the Gamma Fiend. R-Type relaxes, his body tense, and he begins to breathe in the victory over the beast. He suddenly hears a faint yet familiar voice calling him off in the distance behind the building where he sees a faint glowing light. R-Type goes to investigate and is never seen again for some time.
Aiza Dewajia, also known as the one we cannot pronounce, is a powerful technique that he used when trying to completely destroy his target's body and soul. Give it up for Aiza Dewajia. In the comments section, we used to frequently hold lore contests. The lore submission is open to all, but the comment section always spawned some great creations, especially when we were asking for NPCs. The best NPC award goes to... We see Looper Kin sprinting through the streets, evading lunatic civilians and blazing waves of fire raining from the sky like High Excalibur, leaping onto and over vehicles. Looper makes a sharp turn or attempts to, his brick-shaped body crashing into a mailbox, then spots a truck to hide inside of. The Wang Gang comes riding around the corner and stops yards away from where they last saw Looper, who was hiding in the truck close by. We see the Wang Gang and their evil leader, Noxious Wong, sitting on the bikes, surveying the area with their headphones on, Noxious snapping to the beat. A horde of crazed Haveners come running toward them but are lifted into the air by Noxious Wong's telekinetics, then set ablaze until charbroiled. They are then clumped together, then blown up with telekinetic force. A charred body flies past Looper. Noxious Wong is a terrible character with a fully fleshed out background with the most strange origins involving his gang, the Wang Gang. If you haven't listened to our lore building segment on them, you should. It's in the wiki as well. Let's get a round of applause for the creator of Noxious Wong, Gotham Pop. All your characters have more in common than you think. As episodes occur, you will eventually realize which players have similar motives as your own. It's fun to see which characters actually become great friends and work together. The Best Friends Award goes to...
We hear the sound of fists hitting fists and the crashing of impact onto leather mats echoing throughout an old rundown torchlit dojo on a fisherman's wharf off the coast of Haven. Turning the corner, we see a young woman, Nam Ki, in mid-air throwing a flurry of punches toward a massive G-type resembling a humanoid black dragon, Drav Mas, his thick, black scales absorbing the onslaught with only his one arm. Nam's arms and legs are dripping in golden hot nuclear flames, her featherweight body staying afloat as she lands her 45th punch before hitting the ground, then rolling under her draconic opponent's legs, baiting him to turn around. Then she somersaults back over his head, staying nimble and keeping out of sight of his peripherals, when wham! Nam gets whacked out of the air and sent flying into a wooden wall. Nam pulls her head out of the shredded wood planks, a long smile on her face and both of her eyes glowing, two different colors, one gold and the other lavender. Drav Mas laughs as he's enjoying himself. Drav is a G-type who was physically mutated beyond belief into what most consider a monster out of a manual or something straight out of a dungeon. However, unlike most G-types driven to flee into the bayou, Drav made a living as hired muscle for the dirty work. It was hard for Drav to get a good fight, as usually things die when hit by him, and it wasn't in his game to pull punches. Luckily, Nam doesn't need him to. These two met at a bar in Smaven's, and things have been moving quite fast ever since. Empowered and charged by her nuclear genetics, Nam dashes forward with increased speed, sending a golden flaming fist into Drav's stomach. Drav eats it and begins laughing and grabs her whole head mockingly. Nam, slightly angered by his big smelly hands hugging her face, begins to glow brighter and lets out a war shout as she grabs his arm and with enhanced strength flips him over her shoulder. Drav, surprised by her burst of strength, is easily flung onto the ground, followed by Nam's fist crashing into the ground next to him. Drav begins laughing while looking up at Nam, who also chuckles a bit and extends her hand. Drav smacks it away and brings himself to his feet. Drav tells Nam he thinks her temper is going to be the end of her one day, referencing the nuclear energy field her body is currently emitting, slowly corroding her clothes and his own scales. But if it weren't for his slight healing factor, Drav wouldn't be so close.
Nam Ki and Drav Mas are in league with the metamutologist Deftude and are a dangerous clique of characters. The power of friendship. Give it up for Nam and Drav. Battles between characters, I hope, keep the players on edge during these intense scenes. The mystery of each character's abilities and intentions, mixed with the unknowing of which player was successful in their roles, is what makes this award the most nerve-wracking one. When the tables turn, they turn hard. You activated my trap card. Award goes to
Kay tightens the whip, lifting Ivan further into the air while wringing his neck. Suddenly, materializing from out of Kay McVeigh's robes, Selena Wren's arm bursts through the conduit and link between himself and the abyss that is his robes and begins to strangle Kay McVeigh as she aggressively steps through and pulls herself out of his robes. Her abyssal presence too immense to be absorbed and regulated by the robes. As the beautiful enchantress exits this gateway, hundreds of thousands of winged monstrosities exit the abyss, escaping into the ethereal realm and begin ripping apart the army of Survey-Day cultists. Ivan, though slightly concerned about Selena's escape, is okay with this for now, as he is released from the whip's snare and fades toward the ground. Selena lifts Kay's entire body by his neck with one arm and begins to sniff and sleuth him like a canine hound searching for illegal drugs. The scent of his savory soul stimulates Selena as she licks her lips. Ivan brings them back into the abyssal realm, leaving behind Selena's children to wreak havoc in the ethereal. Selena's ancient and gaudy jewelry begins to glow while she slowly rips the Takena magic from the Survey-Day robes of the Finder, disenchanting it of its power, in turn exposing Kay to the life-sapping force of the deep void. Selena then tears the robes off of him and throws him to the ground at Ivan's feet. Off in the distance, we see massive abyssal beasts and various entities destroying the already crumbling Takena anchor, severing the link between the abyss and the material realm.
This was not only a turning of the tables, but it was a great introduction to a new player and co-conspirator of Ivan. This was the ultimate trap card. In fact, if you play Yu-Gi-Oh! At all, this would be considered a counter trap card because Selena's ambush came moments after Kay trapped Ivan in the ethereal realm illusion. Give it up for Selena Wren. Peoplz and Dragons encourages and values interesting and creative character concepts. Personally, some of my favorite characters are the ones with little to no powers. We asked you all what characters you felt had the most interesting concept. The Best Character Concept Award goes to Elise Debret. A G-type with the ability to affect entropy on the matter, both organic and inorganic, around themselves. She uses this ability to bring down structures, destroy vehicles, and all sorts of personal items, as well as repairing or modifying clothing and once healed an injured pet animal. She sounds incredible and important. I wonder what will become of her. Welcome to the Peoplz and Dragons, Elise, and welcome to Haven City, the ugly city. This concludes our show. Please show some love to our winners in the Discord and or the comments section, and stay tuned for Season 2 premiere of Gamma Haven.